Yeah.
Okay, we'll call the Finance and Personnel Committee meeting of March 18th to order. Roll call, please.
Kevin Schmidt.
Here.
John Ortlieb.
Here.
Scott Meverden.
Here.
Midge Swedberg. Here. Wayne Schmidt.
Here.
Casey Boer.
Here.
Lee Dashlet.
Here.
Amy Johnson. Here.
Thank you. Confirm the meeting in compliance with open meetings law, please.
Yes, it is.
Thank you. Could I have a motion to approve or a change to the order of the agenda?
So moved.
By Midge,
Second.
second by John. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries. Everyone had a chance to look at the meeting minutes for February 17th.
Make a motion to approve the minutes.
Motion by Scott,
Second.
second by Kevin. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries. Did everyone have a chance to look at the general bills?
Yes.
Aaron, do you have an answer for the question?
I don't. Casey, there's a bill.
We did talk about it.
There's a bill for the park and rec, that we paid to Olson Fab, and the description that I put down was donation expense. Do you remember what that was for?
Yeah, that's for parts for that fishing dock on at Louise Park.
And we used donated money.
It was all coming, yeah, because part of it, the CIFA donated some money, or is donating some money to help refurbish that, so it just, it's gonna go out of that account and back.
That's why the word donation.
Donation is better.
Okay, thank you.
Question from this morning.
I got a couple of questions. Jamie, that $558 debt service, is that,
558,000?
yes,
Yep.
is that all interest?
Not all of it, no. Let me see here. Oh, yeah, it's not broken out on there. That is a combination of probably 7 different loan payments, some of which are principal and interest, some of which are just interest payments. We don't do all interest payments one time of the year, and sometimes they're split.
That was gonna be my next question. Is
Yeah.
that a year's worth or how is that?
It is half year's worth. We pay one in October, one in April. This is due, I think, beginning of April. But yeah, some are principal and interest, some are not. But I think it's about 7 of our debt
Okay.
payments.
Then I had one other question. On the final page, you had a, where is it? You had a transfer from the general fund 100 fund for 550, separate from the other one. Why was there 2 of them? Page, well, it says page 2, but they all say.
Is there like a check number with it, or?
No, it just says total expenditure from Fund 100, General Fund 55031, but you have the tallies before that of a lot larger numbers, 480,000. I was curious why they were separate. Do you want my page?
I'm not seeing the file.
You're in the,
Unless-
he's in the check register.
Don't worry.
I don't know what it is, I'm just curious what it is.
Oh, so the small one is checks cut from the Nicolay bank account. So there's only two payments that come out of Nicolay every month. So it says right at the top, Nicolay general checking. So we paid $500 out of general checking from Nicolay and $92 out of the ambulance fund from Nicolay. All of these that have this like really long 100, 200, that's all paid out of our Bank of Luxembourg account.
Oh, so it's a
Different
the
bank
same-
account.
Got
Yep.
it.
So if you, I don't know how you, if you're just looking at a PDF packet, but if you're looking at the packet where you can click the links from the agenda, it specifically says, check register, BOL check register, that's Bank of Luxembourg, or Nicolay check register.
Okay, thank you. I was just curious why it was separated, what would differentiate it.
Because you can only run the report for one bank account at a time.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions on the bills?
Move approval.
Motion by John,
Second.
second by Midge to approve the bills. Roll call, please.
Swedberg.
Yes.
Ortlieb.
Yes.
Boer.
Yes.
Wayne Schmidt,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Dashlet,
Yes.
Kevin Schmidt,
Yes.
Meverden.
Yes.
Thank you. Of a conference attendance, Casey, you wanna let them know what that is?
That's the APWA conference at Stevens Point. It's a bunch of public works groups and engineers and stuff like that for just their yearly conference.
It was approved by our committee this morning.
Yep.
Make a motion to approve attendance.
Second.
Motion by Scott, second by Casey. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries. Anybody here from public comment? One participant. If you could state your name and address for the record, please.
Is this on?
Yes.
Hello, my name is Sarah Kraus. I live at 1000 Fremont Street. I'm the coordinator for Soar on the Shore, our kite festival in Algoma. I've been involved with it for 10 of its 11 years. I also served as the chamber director for 3 years, helping plan large events and small events and consulting folks on their events. I'm here to discuss the city food truck policy as it applies to special events. A citywide ordinance designed for year-round food truck operations imposes restrictions that do not align well with the short-term nature, of special community events. For example, Soar on the Shore, we have 2 food trucks usually and 3 to 4 nonprofit food vendors. We began to add in food trucks because nonprofit vendors are hard to find. They don't have a lot of volunteers and they don't have a lot of availability. We've even had a nonprofit vendor back out the morning of our event. Very stressful. Food is a tough ordeal at events. However, it is necessary. We have to be competitive with the festivals in York County and Green Bay to draw people to Algoma. Modern audiences expect a variety of food and a more catered cuisine, which food trucks can assist us in offering. A few ways the drafted policy will hamper an event like ours or an event smaller than ours. Requiring a food truck that has been booked to travel a long distance in advance for an inspection is a very large ask, especially for an event that may last 1 to 4 hours to 8 hours. Food trucks often require a minimum of sales, and some in Algoma struggle to make that minimum. Adding another $60 fee may stop a truck from taking a chance on our event. If other communities don't impose these regulations, Algoma may shrink its pool of willing vendors as they go elsewhere. If we have a vendor drop out, like we have in the past, the day of, the policy will make it virtually impossible for us to backfill that slot because we won't be able to fulfill the requirements. Requiring compliance with a broad citywide ordinance could limit participation, reduce the variety of vendors, and negatively impact our success as a small event. Most events like ours already require permits, approvals, and compliance with health and safety standards. Adding the food truck regulations on top of our event regulations creates unnecessary redundancy and administrative hurdles. We ask the council to exempt special events or perhaps find a better fitting ordinance specific to events and food trucks. This will allow us to curate our vendors, appeal to our audience with a selection of food without additional administrative burden. We ask that regardless of the choice that you all make, we do ask that you wait at least a year to enact any ordinance to 2026 because we've already begun our 2025 season and our planning. And I believe that is the same for all the events around the city. So, thank you for your time. We just wanted to state our piece regarding this policy. We want to work with you to make our events successful. I also want to see other new events start, and I'm afraid that this policy may be a roadblock for some of those events. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah. Any other public comment? One more time, move on. Old business, the fire and rescue building.
Like I spoke to you last, we thought that we would have last Thursday our fire department out to bid. That is not the case yet to date. I was on the phone, tried to get a hold of Jim earlier to see where that's at, to get a timeline for an update tonight, and that was unsuccessful. And I'm gonna segue right into, and then I'll take questions on both of them, but I'm gonna segue right into old business part B, because I thought shortly after we'd have that out to bid, we'd have our estimates of where we're at to share with the council, to start the conversation on where we go with the admin building. I don't have those yet as well. So with that, I will entertain any questions that anybody has about this.
Well, I don't have any questions without any, we don't know any more than we knew last meeting.
Unfortunately, we're in a holding pattern
Yeah.
waiting.
Maybe the prices are gonna go down.
Don't comment on it, I've been watching.
Is Jim actively communicating, or is he just?
He
going close
has
to
been
us?
really good. Now, to the finish line, then it's kind of cold shoulder. But the simple answer is yes, very well.
No other discussion? Thank you, Matt.
You're welcome.
New business, the 2025 fee schedule amendment for mobile food establishment permit fees.
Okay, so this is just in preparation of the mobile food establishment ordinance possibly being approved at the next meeting. This would just put that fee into our fee schedule so that it can be charged.
Okay,
Adoption would be at council along with that ordinance if that's what we choose to do.
Jamie, on the revised here, I noticed under your mobile food establishment reassurance, you took that out last time you had it in.
I'm sorry?
Right below the, where it says mobile food, you have it highlighted, establishment reissuance.
Yep.
For occurrence, there was a fee last
Oh,
time.
there is a fee. Yep, it should say $15 there.
Much?
$15.
Okay,
We'll make sure that's in the final copy.
okay, thank you.
What are the fees proposed?
$100 for an annual permit, $60 for a temporary 3-day, up to 3 consecutive days. And then reissuance is $15 per occurrence. As we discussed previously, that would be if somebody is adding a location to their already issued permit.
And if everything passes, it goes in effect April 7th? Is that the way I read this on top here?
Yes.
Okay, because I noticed there's a food truck gonna be at the Citgo station this week. Okey-dokey.
I would like to add to Sarah's comments, and this seems to be the place. I talked to a lot of people about the inspection. I talked to a lot of people about the whole thing, and I think that having the mobile food ordinance is a good thing. I do believe that the inspection might be heavy-handed. That's my personal opinion. Some comments from the chief of how that's gonna work for him, from understanding that even if they come from Green Bay, they gotta come a day in advance. That is a big ask. And so my personal opinion, and I just wanted to share with everyone for later, is that I think maybe that could be reconsidered, the inspection part of it. Just my opinion.
Do they have a state inspection that they'd have a certain?
They have a
amount
state
anyways?
inspection, and I feel that would be sufficient, because if we inspect them in June and it's October and their food truck burns down, was our inspection any better?
So they could show us their
So
state.
again, I'm not saying it's right or wrong, that's a personal opinion of mine. So, I just thought I'd share that.
And because they have, but is there any chance of them coming back?
I don't know if
As-
this should be a discussion.
Right, but
I
them to say.
just wanted to
yeah.
share an opinion.
There won't be any action taken.
Correct. Thank you. B, the review and
One
approval.
moment,
Oh,
could we get a motion to
Oh, I'm
recommend
sorry.
the 2025 fee schedule to council?
Also move.
Second.
motion by Wayne, second by Casey.
Yep.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Yes. That carries. Sorry, Jamie. B, you opposed?
I oppose.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I think it's a little heavy too, and they got people who got.
Well, this was
drive
just for
through.
the fees, John.
Just the fee schedule.
Yeah, I know,
Oh, okay.
but I think the fees of $100 is pretty heavy.
Okay.
you gotta sell $300 of food in order to cover that first $100. Well, now you're asking to sell $1,000 a day in food to make it worthwhile to come. Even that, I'm not sure would be, so. That $100 is a lot for a food truck. Anyways, just my opinion.
You've got his note
Yep.
correct. Thank you.
Well, question, if we wanna take out the inspection, maybe we should have readjusted the $100.
I think that has to
Precisely.
happen at council.
Precisely.
Did I open a can of worms?
Yeah, we can't really be talking about the ordinance
Correct.
right now.
Then we gotta talk about this at council.
At council,
Should be
yep.
on there.
So we can move on.
Move on.
Review and approval of job descriptions. The city clerk, city treasurer, public services director, and city administrator. I don't know how you want to start that, Matt.
I'm gonna just open the floor. I sent these off to everybody via email with a couple changes that we made. One of the changes that was asked, I talked about it, and it does not talk about the 40 hours of time in here. That has been removed. And there's all the other changes that were made. Some of them were very small, like a duplicate, I think, in one on the treasurers. They are all before everybody, unless anybody has any questions.
I know that Amy has some.
Yeah, I had a question. First of all, I want to thank you for giving me the time to actually look at it. I did take the time to read them. I do have a question, Matt, as to a word that's in the new ones but not in the old ones. And that is,
Do you have one in particular, Amy, that you're looking at, or is it in general? I mean, should I open up city
you
administrator?
can, I have Public Works in front of me,
Okay,
Public Service,
okay,
Public Service Director. No, just randomly chosen.
okay.
But this is in all of the descriptions, okay? Comparing it to the past ones, the word desired, go to page 4, top of the page, desired minimum qualifications. That wasn't on the previous ones, and I'm just curious why desired is in, because that's more of what should be in a job posting, not necessarily what should be in a job description. So that's why I was curious as to,
So let me ask you, you went through the old ones, or you had the old, it
Correct.
said nothing about qualifications?
well, it said qualifications, but it didn't say, it doesn't say, yeah, desired.
It just says minimum?
I can talk to it a little bit. When we were putting these job descriptions together, we were not just going off of the old job descriptions. We were going off of research on jobs from different municipalities, mirroring things we liked, mirroring things, maybe taking things out of ours that we didn't like. And having those qualifications in the job description, I think assists if somebody were to leave. You don't have to have a special meeting of this body to decide what you want in that next person, potentially slowing your recruitment down by a month or more. Or like these job descriptions have been reviewed for like 4 months. So I feel like if you have what you're looking for in a candidate within the job description, you're setting yourself up for the future, not specifically for what you have right now.
I just have a bugaboo with the word desired. To me, it means like, they don't have to have anything that we're asking, and I don't want
What would you prefer?
just minimum qualifications.
What if you find somebody that doesn't have something that's in there, but they're the best candidate?
And that can be in the posting, but then they should be working towards getting one of these things. That's my intent.
Which would make them desire.
Correct. Well,
But
that's in that job
doesn't that make them
postings.
desirable?
No, that would make them competent.
This minimum requirements doesn't necessarily make them competent.
What-
Being outside this could make them competent, but then also hoping, obviously if it gets accreditation, we talk about continuing education.
Right.
Sorry, Matt, I jumped in on you.
That's okay.
Because that was where I was like, I'm not quite sure I understand where this is all going.
I would say, and that's fine, if you want to switch to something, go ahead. We're definitely not the only municipality or
So
company that uses second language.
where does it state that you have to get your minimum qualifications? If we hire
It
somebody
doesn't.
without, I mean.
And that's kinda, I think that should be,
That was one of the points that I stressed in the past. I just think if you hire somebody and they don't have the qualifications, at least they should try to get qualified
Well,
in the
but this is
future.
not hiring, I mean, this is
No,
just.
but it's still in the
current
job
people, what
description.
is their job description? What do they do day to day? They've already
Right.
hired,
Put
we
that
don't,
in their offer letter, So to kind of quell this, could you put that in, because any employee that you're gonna hire, you're gonna write an offer letter. And say you go back to the thing like Jamie had said, where they don't have that desired qualification, but they're the best candidate, and we put minimum, we take the desired out. So now you have the opportunity to write an offer letter to them, and you're gonna put in that offer letter, kind of like we do with a police officer or whatever, you have to have this certification by this date, you have to have this by this date. Isn't it an opportunity to make them sign that contract with you then?
But isn't it a
To put it in
little
there?
late to tell that in an offer letter? They should know it up front if you're applying for a job and you.
But you have it
to-
in your job description, right,
But
and it's
I-
our understanding you're going to get these.
Well, that's an understanding.
Exactly, that's.
It
where
isn't
gets
always,
lumpy.
I have an understanding of this, but it doesn't always come down to that. Depending on who sits around here and who sits in these positions, you can say, well, I thought they were gonna, but they don't. So what do you do then?
So you think putting it in the offer letter is, that
Well,
they're
I
signing is
just,
too late?
I wanna make sure that if whoever we hire, in your case, look at the things that you've done
Yep.
above and beyond when we hired you. You had no experience, but yet you took it upon yourself to get your qualifications.
Mhm.
I'm saying that everybody that's hired here, if there's certain qualifications, they should have to accomplish that over a period of time, whether it be 3 years, 4 years, or whatever.
So if they don't meet the, say it says you have to be APWA certified, say you have to be certified, right?
Yeah.
That's what one of the minimum qualifications are. And we know that when we're preparing to hire them, they don't have this certification. Wouldn't we put it in that offer letter saying within 1 year you have to have this certification? Because it's on this job description.
Then instead of the offer letter, you should be putting it in your job posting. So if I apply for the job, I understand that within a year, if I get hired here within a
Who will
year.
have it, who won't have it.
And yeah, that you can
Well,
put that
You
in your
can't put
posting.
that in the ad because you don't know who's got it, who doesn't got it.
You could
You're
make these,
also going to post the job description.
the job description gets posted, right, as part of the job that we're putting out there, okay? At the end of the day, we could make this job description 72 pages
Well,
long.
I understand that, Matt.
Right? There's some things that you're not gonna cover, and I think what you're trying to cover, Wayne, I don't think is part of the job description, I think it's part of the performance evaluation. After, if they're not meeting the criteria that you're looking for, or have gotten there, wouldn't that be part of the performance evaluation?
But when do you lay that out to the employee? When does the employee know if I get hired?
I think when they get an offer letter that they sign, right? They're signing,
Well,
saying,
I'll give you an example. Kiwani hires somebody as their clerk that has no experience.
yep,
Cellcom or whatever that individual did, okay? They hired that person. Well, so is there any qualifications that they expect that person to meet?
well, I think every job, you could set those qualifications to what you want them to be.
But don't you think when you advertise for the job, you should say minimum of whatever?
And we have that in, so these are the job description, but going along with our job description, we also have that second posting. And it's like evading me what it is right now. You have your job, the recruitment announcement. That's where you have some of that stuff in there.
Because I mean, you know, nothing against hiring anybody that doesn't have experience, but you expect them to attain a certain level over a period of time, and that's.
Agreed, because they have to know what they're required and what they're able to do.
But
And I
why,
think if we don't spell that out,
why can't you keep desired in there? Because you could be, somebody could have a bachelor's degree in whatever, and they could be dumb as a box of rocks, or somebody who had the same job for 25 years could be so smart at that job and how to do whatever that is, because they've had the experience. So why can't we just leave desired? It's up to the council to decide when they come and apply. I don't have an issue with desired.
I don't either.
Just because you have a 4-year degree doesn't mean you're any smarter than the person that's worked that same occupation for 10 years.
I've never seen it in a job position or a
I-
job description ever. That's
I
why
haven't
it's
either,
stuck
but it's
out.
not like, oh my gosh, I don't like it, it's bothering me.
Yeah, well, that's where I differ with them.
Yeah.
Jamie, what do you got?
I would like to maybe just flip it a little bit, like kind of bouncing off of what Kevin's saying. Is it that you don't like any of the qualifications in there or just the word desired?
Just the word
Just
Okay,
desired.
because if you're looking at, if you would put it in as minimum qualifications, I feel like you are eliminating a large pool of people potentially. Like Matt's job description may have in there, we desire a master's degree. And if he doesn't have a master's degree and you have minimum qualifications in there, well then get rid of him right now. But if it just says desired qualifications and he doesn't have a master's degree, but he's doing a good job, well then, oh
But
well.
I think just even removing desired and, actually,
I feel like
Yeah,
desired
I-
gives you
I-
more
I- I-
leeway.
let everyone else.
We ran into that problem with public works years ago when we'd hire, on the description, you had to have your CDLs or have the temps for your CDLs. And if they didn't have it, application got put aside. Well, eventually what it came down
It
to.
was easy when you'd get 70 applications.
Right.
Right,
When you get 3,
when you get down to it, but I mean, it's still when you do the interview with the person, you explain to them what they want, and I mean, if it comes down to the position and after they're signing it, so they understand the whole concept, so. I don't know, it's horse with one.
Amy, would it suffice if you took desired minimum out and just put general qualifications?
Well, position requirements are what are in all the other documents, so I don't know why the language has changed. That's why I was asking. I mean, position requirements.
All of our job descriptions have essential job requirements.
I could just say job.
If you don't have them,
That's, the last bullet point on there. It's kind of like,
Or
any other duties assigned by your manager. Any equivalent combination of education and experience that demonstrates the ability to perform job duties and responsibilities. That last bullet point is the cover your butt.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter with the verb. Essential job requirements, desired minimum qualifications.
Prospective
General-
qualifications to have.
General qualifications would,
I like that.
I like general.
I like general.
same thing to me, tit for tat.
no, I'm not disputing that, I'm disputing when a person has to meet their
That's
qualifications.
that would be like an IDP, individual performance.
Amy, you had another point. Do you want to bring that up and that might help Wayne? For the further education?
Oh, well, that's kind of what you were talking about, is if this is in here, is that what they're gonna be striving for, and where do we put that? But I think that's what,
It's an individual development plan, I mean,
Right.
that's part of your annual review, biannual reviews,
Yeah.
that's
so I think that's a separate document.
100%.
Yeah, but that should be, and I don't know, and I think that would be part of the interview, is we're expecting you to get some of this, or you show,
Job descriptions are,
right, they're just,
not to discredit them, but they're as good as the paper they're written on, it's
No, I
it's
understand
a
that.
base, it's something, not to discredit, I mean, the work you guys put into these, I think you've done a great job. I don't have any issue, I reviewed all of them.
and it seems we're setting the bar low when we say desired minimum, if we just say general, so I like general a little better.
That's all seems semantical to me. I mean, if it moves us forward to call it general versus desired, it doesn't really matter. I mean, it's aspirational, but as long as it connotes that these are the things that we hope that you have, and if you don't have them, you can demonstrate that you have the qualifications beyond that, outside of these, that's fine. And then the determination of getting accreditation is based on, like you said, the performance plan. I mean,
Do we have a performance plan?
I haven't seen a review.
We don't have a performance plan.
Performance evaluation,
Yeah,
but we don't have a performance plan.
yeah, well, again, I'm sorry, it's again semantical.
I understand.
I'd be happy to, you guys can look them up too. I don't have an issue with the way that they've been presented, or if you wanna change the word to general, either way. You need a motion to,
I would like some.
do you need them all separate?
Don't need
Not
all
if it's
together.
just one.
Is there anything else?
Do you have any, do you have an issue with changing desired minimum to just the word general qualifications?
Does it change the definition of things in your mind as far as how somebody on the outside would look at it? Does it, one way or the other, does it matter, do you think?
I would so
I don't know
move
that
to,
highway, guys.
I make a motion to approve all of them and change the verbiage on desired minimum to just general,
So just
Second.
General qualifications.
general qualifications.
Second.
I think Casey
Casey,
seconded,
yeah.
Casey seconded it already.
I had one more discussion that
Yep.
didn't get there before you.
Yep.
Last time I had asked that we add the word annual onto attends workshops and conferences related to their duties and responsibilities for everybody. And I don't see that in here. It's a bullet point on everybody's where it says attends workshop and conferences related to corporate duties. And it may be determining it, and that's working towards these qualifications again. Everyone does it, it's not like it, but it just shows that they're working towards getting the qualifications necessary.
You want
And staying
annual?
current. Yeah, and staying current.
So anything related to conferences, meeting attendance, things like that, you just wanted to say annually?
Right. Could be a 15-minute summary, but as long as you're staying current, everyone is staying current. There are those continuing education units everyone has to get.
So now, you've already got a motion.
Are we?
I know.
And
So-
we're still in discussion though.
No,
No.
but
But
if
the
you're gonna
motion
make
is not
another
correct
change,
now.
if
Yeah.
you're gonna make
Changing
another
that,
change,
we
you
have to
can.
change the
I
motion
got you.
to make those two changes.
Do you wanna amend your motion?
Well, I'd have to rescind.
Where are you going, John?
I have another meeting
I wonder where.
at the county board.
I wanna approve that, spending all that money on that shop as my
Rescind
representative.
my motion.
How about a new jail instead?
I'll make a motion then.
Hold
Wait
on.
a minute.
Somebody's gotta rescind there.
Scott is
I
rescinding his
rescinded.
motion.
You second his.
Casey,
Okay.
are you okay with that?
I'm all right with that.
Okay, now Mitch.
Well, before we go any further, is there anything else, Amy?
No.
Well, I mean,
No.
it's open for discussion.
Yeah.
Let's make it,
No, those were my two.
okay.
So I'll make a motion to approve them, except, or changing the verbiage to general qualifications and adding annually to the conferences and whatnot on that line. To every, all four of those, job descriptions.
Second.
Motion by Midge and second by Kevin. Any more discussion?
Can I just make sure I've got it?
Yes.
Okay, so the first motion was made by Meverden, seconded by Boer. That has been rescinded again by Meverden, seconded by Boer. That was for just adding the word general. A second motion was then made by Alder Midge Swedberg and seconded by Alder Kevin Schmidt, adding the words general to the minimum, requirements, general
I was just
minimum.
gonna say general qualifications.
General qualifications, thank you, Jamie. And then adding the word annual to the, attends professional conventions, workshops, training, that bullet point for all four descriptions,
Annually.
Sounds right.
okay? And do you wanna,
You
Roll
better do a
call
roll
on that?
call on
Okay.
that.
Dashlet,
Yes.
Bartley,
Gone.
sorry, my bad. Boer,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Wayne Schmidt,
Yes.
Swedberg,
Yes.
Meverden,
Yes.
Kevin Schmidt.
Yes.
Thank you. All right, C, Parks and Rec, the Newman Park improvements, memorandum of understanding with Algoma Venture Academy. You see?
So, if you looked at the Parks meeting minutes, this proposal has been put in there, I think, twice now. This is basically their like dream project, the way it's set up. It would be scaled back substantially, currently without the retention pond or the bioswale gardens. Something that potentially could be added later with some more cooperation from other agencies too. But the general plan of the gazebo, the walking path, not much for hardscapes, and then the trees. It was all looked over by the Park and Rec Committee, and was recommended here along with the memorandum of understanding between the Algoma Venture Academy. So basically what it is the Venture Academy wants us to partner with them. Basically, they would provide the funding for this project through a grant that they have. I know on the park side, they had a question regarding under the insurance portion of the whole harmless agreement with EVA. Matt was gonna have legal look at that at some point, but basically, after reaching out to Abigail from ABA, the school would cover, students during school hours. So any work being done there is gonna be during school hours, so that's all covered by them. This MOU basically just covers from the date we sign it until, I believe it says September. September, which is when they have to have their grant funding spent by. So basically what they're looking for is another area to expand for outdoor learning. As far as the city is concerned, we may have some time in it, but not really much, if anything, for materials. I think it'd be a good use of that park. That is not much use the way it is right now. We had already started prepping, not because of this, but we had a bunch of trees that we had to remove because of their health and hazards. So we're kind of partially there, just kind of determines what we do next.
And do they have that funding secured already?
Yes, and so they have $100,000 through a startup grant that they have. The MOU has to be in place to basically signify to their grantees that this is being used for a learning area.
Right.
But yes, they have the funding in place. Some of it, like when I talked to the other day, like initially they were talking about possibly gazebo having concrete. Well, that's one thing they can't do is concrete, but we can still do like a sonotube and like some sort of pervious surface underneath, which would be the same as a walking dog.
Would, if the concrete was there, could they use it?
Yes. Just that they can't use it under their portion. Not saying we couldn't possibly kick that in. It's very minimal expense.
Sure.
It just depends what would work better.
So then, just a clarification, they already have the funding, but it has to be liquidated by September 30th? So this
Yes.
has to be done by September 30th?
Project doesn't have to be done, but the funds that they're using have to be
Be
spent.
used up. by-
So like if they're gonna if they need to buy a gazebo, it doesn't have to be put up yet, but it has to be
Be purchased.
spent. Yeah, it has to be purchased.
Casey, how deep is that retention pond?
Right now, there's no retention pond.
Yeah.
It's removed. We technically can't put one there because it's in the floodplain. In order to do that, would cost a bunch of money and a bunch of engineering to change that and put that in. So those are in the drawing, but they're not gonna be there this
Yeah,
time.
the swale as well.
That and the
Same
swale.
with the swale, if you see number 7, that swale,
Yeah.
that would not be part of this project.
In fact, weren't we moving the gazebo, like closer to the west?
We'd focus more on the west side
Yeah,
of
that's what I
the
thought
park,
we
keep
talked
things
about.
dry. It is an option later on. We met with LNRP 2 weeks ago, I believe. Me, myself, and Abigail from EBA to kind of discuss it. And it's something that could happen in the future where they could help us with the engineering costs and the map changing and stuff like that.
How that would work into place.
But for right now, it'd be utilizing the higher portions of the park to get that walkway in there and the gazebo.
Casey,
My concerns were just safety related to open bodies of water. Do we have to
Yeah, right now
fence
they're
on that, or-
Not part of it at this time.
You have natural water.
they had the proposed plan and then the dream plan without the retention pond. Are they closer to the dream plan or do you know? I'm just curious.
I think we're closer to the proposed plan because
Okay.
they're also not gonna do the drilling area on their behalf. I mean, if we wanted to add it, another
Okay,
kind of minimal expense that we could look at either in the future.
I kind of like we have a meeting.
With this, well, just a question, like that is an engineering consideration, right? Like
Yes.
because the amount of energy.
That is, just right now, there's no funding earmarked.
Okay, it's,
What it boils down to
same
is
as
funding.
okay.
Basically, you can't, in a floodplain, you can't use anything to hinder the rainwater or flooding, I guess.
You don't want to retain water
Yes,
in
you
a
can't.
flood zone that already
Yeah,
retains water.
now without permitting and
It's a
you
permitting
basically have to
issue
change
and-
it from floodplain to non-floodplain, and you have to find somewhere else basically to make your flood.
any other questions or concerns?
For a motion.
I'll move approval.
Second.
Amy and Casey, I believe. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries. Any agenda items for the next meeting? Casey, Aaron, or Jamie? The next meeting will be Tuesday, April 15th. And I would be looking for a motion to go into closed session pursuant to Wisconsin statute 19.85, section 1, subsection C, considering employment, promotion, compensation, or performance evaluation data of any public employee over which the governmental body has jurisdiction or exercises responsibility, control officer, clerk, and treasurer, and deliberating or negotiating the purchasing of public properties, the investing of public funds, or conducting other specific public business whenever competitive or bargaining reasons require a closed session and intergovernmental agreement for services.
So move.
Second.
Motion by Scott, second by Wayne.
Yep.
Roll call?
Moore,
Yes.
Wayne Schmidt,
Yes.
Meverden,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Dashlet,
Yes.
Kevin Schmidt,
Yes.
Swedberg.
Yes.